So, tonight we watched Jungle Cruise, starring Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson and Emily Blunt. Connor, what is the plot of Jungle Cruise?
I just want to say on the offset that I protested seeing this film after about 10 seconds of it. Jungle Cruise stars Emily Blunt, who is an adventurer with her brother, whose only character trait is that he's gay. And they are trying to find these mystical flowers that can end all disease and help people. So they meet a skipper named Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, who as it turns out, he's like a Spaniard who's immortal because of some sort of curse, like Pirates of the Caribbean style curse, and Emily Blunt has an amulet, and the amulet will allow her to unlock the Tree of Life, which Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson can use to lift his immortality curse. And Emily Blunt and Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson fall in love, and they ride around on a boat, and there's like monkeys and like weird dolphins, and there's a big CGI tiger and everything.
And there's
CGI.
other ghost Spanish people.
There's other ghost Spanish people that look like any fucking generic ghost people from Pirates of the Caribbean, and they ride around on a boat.
Fat Damon plays a German man.
Fat Damon is the evil German man who's like, they didn't want to use Nazi imagery, so they set this during World War One. The only reason it's set during World War One is so they didn't have to do overt Nazi imagery with Fat Damon, which is clearly what they were going for, because it's kind of just like a mashup of Pirates of the Caribbean and Indiana Jones, except done worse than both. Well, not done worse than the fourth and fifth Pirate of the Caribbean movie. I didn't see the fourth, but I had assumed. I just seen the fifth one.
Is the fourth one a mermaid one?
I saw the mermaid
scene.
I've seen the mermaid scene of the fourth one, so I know that, but I have not seen much of Pirates 4.
What's the fifth one?
The fifth one is where Johnny Depp runs around in a hamster wheel, and he's like...
I remember the part where they rob the bank and he sleeps in the...
They're like, oh, Jack Sparrow's so drunk because he's a fucking... pirate, and it's not because he's actually drunk, because Amber Heard cut his finger off or whatever.
Shat in his bed.
And shat on him, and he's shitting, and there's poop all over Johnny Depp's house because they're all pooping everywhere. They're off pooping away. Jungle Cruise, it's what you imagine. They go on a cruise through the jungle, there's fucking Pirates of the Caribbean ghosts and shit. So Aiden, what did you think of Jungle Cruise?
It's decent. You know, I found it enjoyable. Okay, so it's basically a mishmash of Indiana Jones and Pirates of the Caribbean 1. Basically, exactly. And to that end...
Blunt is like Jack Sparrow with no charisma. In terms of, like, they throw her in the same set pieces where she's, like, jumping around on hamster wheels and shitting in
she's Indiana Jones without charisma. And The Rock is...
She has a certain charisma,
weird
but not
charisma,
a good charisma.
Jack Sparrow. The Rock is the Jack Sparrow of this story on multiple levels.
Yeah.
Okay,
they're both kind of Jack Sparrow.
All the CGI shit is a lot. There's a lot of CGI. Way too much CGI.
Everything is CGI.
Everything is CGI.
The boat's CGI. The Rock's muscles might have been enhanced.
Would have really preferred if there was some practicality in the movie. That said,
You think you would be able to, because you have a movie like The African Queen, which came out 60 years ago. Granted, I know you got PETA breathing down your spine, but you can't get like one or two establishing shots of a legitimate jungle with like a real animal in it. Yeah, couldn't even buy the damn stock footage. You don't even have to take The Rock out to fucking Brazil.
Yeah. No, I mean, the CGI overload is a fucking lot. And that's really what hampers it for me.
It's a fucking cartoon. The Rock
it's a fucking cartoon. That said, actual adventure movies don't come out anymore. This is not the best one. This is not as good as Pirates of the Caribbean 1.
What about the Pirates of the Caribbean 5 and the Mummy? Was
The
the Mummy
Mummy
with
is
Tom
not.
Cruise considered an adventure?
No.
Suspense? What the fuck is the genre of that movie?
Superhero movie.
Superheroes.
What
I
else
forgot.
is it?
That's the blanket genre. It's like a
characters
superhero.
are-
It's like a war movie that transitions into a superhero movie.
Yeah. Anyway,
Yeah.
for the Mummy, you know, it's not fantastic, but I thought it was watchable. The Rock is likable enough. I liked the establishing scene that you got really ass-hurt about, where he's like a shitty Disney cruise captain who tells horrible jokes and is just fucking
I
obnoxious.
didn't get ass mad about
You
it.
did. You're like, I can't believe they were characterizing him like this in this movie. Look, it's gonna be
That's
3
not
hours
what I
of this.
said.
That is
I
exactly
said
what you said.
What I
Then you
said
"Let's
was.
leave."
What I said was, let's leave. This is a 2.5 hour movie, and I already know it's gonna be this shit for 2 hours. And I was right. It was non-stop set pieces. The Rock didn't do anything but fucking quip like he was Tony Stark in Avengers Age of Ultron the whole time. Emily Blunt, she says 3 words the whole movie, and it's like, I'm mad at you, Rock. And then she does fucking backflips on the fucking hamster wheel or whatever the fuck, like all these stupid ass Disney movies. It's a shit show. It's a piece of shit. It's not even the worst movie I've seen, and that's the problem. Is it's not. I hate to hijack your part, but it's not even so bad that it's like there's something to talk about. It's like it's how many ways can I shit around the fact that it's a bunch of crappy fucking CGI set pieces, fucking abysmal. And you know you get carried by the Rock's charisma just enough that the movie's not horrid. Like I just wish it was a horrible piece of shit like everything else I've seen this year,
Yeah.
or I wish it was decent, but it's just neither, which makes it just boring.
I'd give it decent. I
And-
wouldn't give it good. I
You
wouldn't
know
give it
how I
great.
would give it a decent
I thought
score?
it was moderately.
You know how I
enjoyable
call
at
this movie
times.
decent? If this movie was 90 minutes, 75 minutes. This movie.
75
What?
68 minutes.
68 minutes, dude. I don't know how many times this year I have to say.
They get on the boat.
75 minutes. They get
60 minutes later, they get off the boat.
no. Okay, here it is. 15 minutes to establish Emily Blunt. Now you got an hour and The Rock. You can do 7 minutes for Emily Blunt. She's in the library stealing the pendant. The Rock, you get 7 minutes of him dicking around as a cruise captain. That's basically what the actual start was, right?
Oh, yeah.
And then instead of having them dick around on the boat, they fucking sit around on the boat. There's like 10 scenes of them swashbuckling around, fucking looking at stupid dolphins and bullshit, CGI dolphins and bullshit.
Yeah, some of that.
And
kind of
him
cut,
being
that's
like,
pretty
yo,
fluff.
I'm like 400 years old and I'm a fucking zombie, man. And then they fall in love and they get to the Tree of Life, and the last 15 minutes is them fighting the Pirates of the Caribbean characters.
You feel like
It's
I
the
feel
same
like-
plot, it's just you cut down the fluff.
probably what I would have done.
Disney's first gay character with easy to cut out scenes.
Well, yeah, they have to
They
be
have
for
to
China.
be easy
You
to
know,
slice.
if I was in charge here, I'd probably cut Fat Damon, and I would just make the conquistadors that can turn into bees more important. Because
On the contrary, I think you should cut out the fucking conquistadors and keep Fat Damon.
yeah, but The Rock has a personal relationship to the conquistadors.
Yeah, but you
that they
can't
could
drop
have
the
built
Rock
on.
as 300 years old bombshell until, or you just cut that whole plot out and you just make it the damn Nazi guy chasing him around for an hour and a half. You got a movie. You don't have to add all this shit. What does The Rock being 300 years old really add when push comes to shove? Because at the end he's just not immortal anymore. Because he becomes stone and then he gets saved and he can live his life with Emily Blunt because they're
Fight a
lovers.
man made out of bees.
I thought the whole conquistador shit came out of nowhere, and maybe that's because I took like a 45-minute
You're
poop in the
shitting
middle.
while all that happened.
I was trying to poop away some of the time of the movie, so it was a 90-minute movie like it should have been. I was trying to shit away the time. You think I actually was shitting for a half hour? I shit for maybe 2 minutes, then I was like, fuck it. Just gonna be bored to tears if I keep watching this movie, so I'll just keep shitting. And I found an epic movie to review for the channel, so I was making moves to help our epic YouTube channel get more epic subscribers.
Anyway. Yeah.
How are we gonna catch up with major YouTuber the Rad Brad and his 12 million subscribers?
Anyway. I thought it was watchable, decent. Not good, not great. Connor, what'd you think?
Yeah, I thought it was decent, which is the problem because it should have been decent but 90 fucking minutes instead of decent 2 hours and 10. Oh my god, was this fluff to the maximum. And the whole fucking shit was just CGI. It was, like I said, it was a fucking cartoon movie.
Too much.
It was a cartoon movie with Emily Blunt and fucking The Rock and Fat Damon.
It would have been really easy for them to just like put a boat and some fucking water on a soundstage somewhere.
Yeah, well, look, I'm fine with you get some CG backdrops so that like the boat shit's easier. I can only imagine the insurance and crap is out the ass if you try to put fucking The Rock and Emily Blunt on a fucking rickety ass boat in the middle of the fucking Brazil or whatever. But they'd probably do it in like Florida, but still. I can only imagine the insurance is out the ass. You actually have to search down wildlife, whatever. But to make it all CGI, you couldn't have just purchased some fucking stock footage of some real fucking monkeys or some real tarantula walking around. Instead, everything's CGI, and the CGI frankly looks like shit because there's so fucking much of it and they don't know what to do with it. And it's not getting a Marvel movie budget. The Rock looks like a fucking tool in his stupid little hat. It's just something I want to add. But I mean, The Rock has his charisma. Emily Blunt is fine. Her brother is kind of annoying. I think they might have made him a bit too of a flamboyantly homosexual stereotype at times. Where like you kind of called like Disney's either making this like they're either hinting that he's gay. So like before he admits he's gay, like halfway through it, you're like it's like almost like feels like it's like a twist they're setting up, or it's something that they can wink nudge at the audience. Like
yeah, in a scene
like,
that
I thought it would either be
from the other scene so they can easily cut it.
Perfectly pointless scene, no actual exposition, but I'm actually gay. Turns out. Is actually established. It's totally pointless because he never has a boyfriend or anything because that'd be too hard to cut out.
Yeah.
Or like there's no like it's not like there's some important exposition and somehow it works in that he's gay. It's just we're gonna put this scene in here to get brownie points. And honestly, I figured when he first showed up because the first like half hour you don't know he's gay. The first half hour he's important in the film. And I figured they were just going to make it like they made it like super obvious that the intention was that he was gay. So that like media, like Kotaku and shit would be like, is whatever fucking Daniel or whatever his name gay? Is that the case? First gay Disney character? But but they're just like, that's what they set up. But they have plausible deniability in like the Ukraine, fucking Kazakhstan or whatever the fuck backwards ass country that doesn't. China, pretty much anywhere that's like racist and homophobic, China. Where Disney has to be racist and homophobic. You just cut out the fact that it's just an easy in and out cut snippy away that scene. Or just fucking when you're in the fucking dubbing process, like the subtitles, you know how like in anime they'll like change stuff in the subtitles slightly to be like more English. You could do that for them and just be like, instead of saying like,
found the right woman.
I haven't found the right woman yet. I'm just, instead of him being like, my uncle disowned me. My uncle disowned me because I couldn't find a big pair of jiggly titties yet or whatever they want to hear. Out there in fucking China. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It just felt so fucking generic. It was like the whole time I was just sitting there like, why is this 2 hours and 10 minutes and not just 75? Is there a point for the 300-year plot? really, it's a collection of set pieces, a la Indiana Jones, Jurassic Park, Pirates of the Caribbean, The Mummy, that type of film. But the set pieces kind of lack the creativity because it's all CGI and it just doesn't look that good. It also feels bloated considering like the plot at the end of the day doesn't feel like it has much consequence besides the first 10 minutes when they set up the MacGuffin and the last 10 minutes where they say, oh, we found the MacGuffin. Like, you look at something like Indiana Jones, and their set pieces lead to something that leads to something that leads to something, like an obstacle or a revelation in the story. Here it's, you watch 3 set pieces, slow down for The Rock to say he's an immortal, 3 set pieces, my brother's gay, 3 set pieces, Emily Blunt reveals she can draw really good, 3 set pieces, it goes on. But that's my point I'm trying to illustrate. There's no ramping up. It just starts, a bunch of shit happens, and it ends. And it's okay. But that's what sucks about it. So, Aiden, would you recommend the fucking Jungle Cruise?
No. Even though I'm the one who liked it better, no. Connor, would you recommend the Jungle Cruise?
I want to reiterate, I think I liked it about as much as you. I just didn't want to watch it. You're the one who forced me to sit down and watch it. No, I wouldn't recommend the Jungle Cruise. Like, I guess if you...
Are you excited for...
No, not really. Oh, God. I'm not watching it. I refuse. I don't fucking give a shit about M. Night Shyamalan. All I know is it's going to be a weird fucking horny mess.
Horny mess?
I don't know. Also, like, Quentin Tarantino did second unit directing on Jungle Cruise because there's a lot of feet shots.
There was a direct foot close-up in this one, Quentin Tarantino style.
Bro, there were, like, you were on your phone during the one scene where, like, Emily Blunt's, like, fucking jacking the Rock off of their feet and whatever. I don't know. No, she's just in the water and fucking kicking around. It's like 800 different feet shots in this movie. Felt a little bit secret horny by somebody.
There's a lot of feet.
Somebody on the crew was secretly horny.
Welcome to the Jungle Cruise.
See, this is the same shit as, like, if we watched Jumanji 2. Like, I'd give the same review.
Did we watch Jumanji 2?
No, we watched the first Jumanji, and what we said was, it's okay. It's just a fucking...
Is there a Jumanji 2?
There was Jumanji 2. It came out the same day as Frozen 2. It's called Jumanji 2 The Next Level.
Oh, I forgot about that.
And we didn't watch it because I was like, I'm not going to watch this.
Yeah, I forgot that the
And
first
then the
Jumanji
Jungle
was a
Cruise,
thing, let alone Jumanji 2. Damn,
That's probably why The Rock got this role, because he's like, I'm The Rock. I was in
did
a
this
jungle
movie.
I'm in a lot of fucking jungle movies for whatever reason.
The Rock's in a lot of movies for whatever reason.
The Rock's kind of been slacking. I think this is the first Rock joint we've gotten since COVID. That I can think
Furious
of.
9. Oh no, he's not in
He's
that
not
one.
in it because he's so busy off in Hobbs and Shaw Land, bro. I think it is.
Fucking shame.
Yeah, The Rock was the best part of the Fast and Furious movies.
Him and Jason Statham, and they put them both in
And they
one
put 'em
franchise.
both in
They
one
just
franchise,
quarantined
so-
him off from the main series.
Well, and Vin Diesel's pretty great, but everyone else that's left in
Yeah,
the
but
series
Vin
is
Diesel
garbage.
needs someone to play off of.
Vin
The
Diesel
Rock
needs
and
an
Jason
ego to
Statham.
fight with. The Rock, Jason Statham, and Vin Diesel are like the 3 like macho, egotistical,
And I saw Hobbs
Bald
and
man
Shaw,
of
and you know what
Hollywood.
Hobbs and Shaw was missing?
bald man with an ego.
A third bald
Third
man.
bald
with
man,
an ego.
3 bald men, a trio of bald men with huge egos going at it.
I don't know. Jason Statham doesn't seem like too much of an egotistical.
Dude, during
The other
like the
two definitely.
Expendable days, he was. Bro, that's a series we should revisit. We should talk about the fucking Expendables trilogy.
There's only 3 of them. We could shit through that.
Because they're $5 a piece on Vudu all the time. And those are the most... I'm just so curious because even when I watched them back when they were coming out, it was like... And I was a lot stupider back then.
I can't remember.
It was the whole time you're just like, Jesus Christ.
You know,
like, it's just shooting.
I went to see Expendables 2 with you at the theater when we went.
No,
to
that was
Cosmo.
Expendables 3.
Okay, I saw that one, and I don't think I ever saw Expendables 1 or 2.
I believe I've seen all 3 Expendables.
But I saw Red, which also starred Bruce Willis.
Basically the Expendables.
Which was basically the Expendables. And
it was like the
for a long
Expendables,
time,
Expendable, like famous cast.
For a long time, I didn't realize that Red wasn't the Expendables 1. Like, in my mind, I just assumed that what I had seen was Expendables. And then one day I saw the cover for Red, and I was like, oh, I saw that movie. And I was like, oh, I've never seen the first 2 Expendables. I don't remember the third one. I just remember that the poor chumps at the theater let us in with fake knives.
I just remember I've seen all 3 fucking Expendables movies. I don't know where I've seen them all. I just know I've seen them all. I don't remember which one it was, but I remember there was this scene where Sylvester's still, where like they're having like a knife. This Puerto Rican
scene.
That was Red. Where he hops out the car and it does like a fucking 500 fucking drift flip. Well, he can just casually walk out without like the G-forces basically locking him into place. There's a Puerto Rican guy in those movies who's like the knife expert, and I just remember he's like throwing knives super fast, and then you just see like a super huge knife come out, and it hits the dartboard where he's throwing knives, and then Sylvester Stallone goes. And I'm just like, this is this movie.
What if one of
and
us
then,
watches...
I think, like, Jason Statham came out, and he's like, hey, big guy, we have to go over to North Korea. And then they, like, fly to North Korea, and it's literally just them, like, no cover. Like, it's like 15 fucking elderly Rambos running around. They're just shooting every motherfucker in sight.
What if one of us watched Red and Red 2, and one of us watched the Expendables trilogy, and we talked about them as if they were one movie series? Just compared notes.
I mean, that was kind of the thing where, like, it was the last hurrah of these old 80s action stars, except for all their last hurrahs. Like Rambo Last Blood. I kind of want to watch Rambo Last Blood just out of fucking...
Is that out?
It came out 2 years ago.
Oh.
You don't remember how everyone got asked about it being like a Donald Trump loving movie? Or they're like, this is like Donald Trump.
Remember when they got mad about the Clint Eastwood movie?
Oh, you'll remember this. You know how you'll remember Rambo Last Blood? Because the trailer had Old Town Road by Lil Nas X.
Yeah,
and
I do remember.
It's like, oh,
I do remember.
One last ride. I'm 95 years old. I need to shoot a bunch of fucking commies or whatever. Then Old Town Road plays.
There's also Alex's vodka sprayed on the ground over there, but it's really flat and gross.
I'm not gonna drink fucking any concoction Alex creates. So yeah, that was fucking Jungle Cruise.
Alexa, play Back in the Saddle again.
Do you remember, do you think it's possible not to be on these fucking crappy movies still? I don't know how we got on these, but do you remember the part where Bruce Willis puts like fucking...
No.
He puts like 15 shotgun shells on a skillet? Or in a microwave or something?
I actually do remember that.
It kills all the bad guys. Or it kills like 2 bad guys and then it distracts them all.
Yeah.
They think he's inside.
I do remember that actually.
Then Bruce Willis is outside. I own both the Red movies now, by the way.
Do you think if we made an Expendables video and just talked about Red 2 instead of Expendables 2, anyone would notice?
No, I think we should go through all 5 of them and just call it just the 5
Expendables
fucking
and
old
Red trilogy.
Just the fucking stack of movies. This is fucking terrible. I didn't show you what I bought for literally, there was a bundle sale on Vudu. My God, do I love buying shit on the Voodoo sales. Just shit. I bought something recently on Voodoo sale. It's called the Bruce Willis 6-pack, and I bought it for $5. I bought it for $5 for 6 movies.
God.
The Cold Light of Day, which is Bruce Willis and Henry Cavill. It's from 2012, so it's kind of when he was just like not famous. Fire with Fire, which has the guy from Transformers, like the army guy, Bruce Willis, and Rosario Dawson. Josh Duhamel. Is that kind of sad that Bruce Willis is second billing under guy from Transformers? Alright, The Prince, with John Cusack, Bruce Willis, and Jason Patrick.
Okay.
It comes with setup with Bruce Willis, Dean Philippe, and Curtis 50 Cent Jackson. And then it of course comes with actually a set of movies, Red and Red 2.